cannot beat me. Avengers Assemble!
Captain America and the Avengers. Civil War is out this week, and in celebration of that, I'm going to review the Captain America and the Avengers video game that would suck your parents' quarters dry as you fling them into the machine endlessly. And along the way, I'm going to fill your head with tons of comic book knowledge that nobody needs to know. Let's have some fun. This game is a standard beat 'em up along the same lines as games like X-Men or Final Fight, and you can have up to 4 players. You can pick between Captain America, who can throw his shield, Iron Man, who shoots lasers, Vision, who can also shoot lasers, and has the most majestic walk in video game history. Oh, and if you're wondering why he looks a little different than what he originally did, yes, he was completely white for some time. You can also choose Hawkeye, my favorite Avenger, who can shoot arrows. And for the purpose of this review, we are going to have 2 players, because I don't have enough friends to have 4 players. I'm just kidding. I just didn't want to involve the other 2 guys. Team Captain America, all the way. Now the story. A paper-thin comic book plot. Red Skull brings a bunch of villains together by tempting them with money, and then mind controls them to fight the Avengers. Which, I don't understand why he needed to do that to them. Weren't they already enticed by the money to destroy the Avengers? I don't know. Scene 1, the Avengers. The game opens up with the bad guys attacking the city with generic robots, and the gameplay's pretty basic. I mean, you can jump, punch, throw enemies, and if you hit jump and punch together, you use your abilities. Most enemies just shoot lasers or punch you. Others grab you. Some enemies are shielded, and you have to punch them to hurt them. And when was Hawkeye so strong that he can pick up a freaking vending machine? And it explodes. What kind of soda were they selling? After walking a little further, boom! Supervillains. But who are these guys? The Living Laser. Marvel's diet version of Electro that nobody knows. First appearing in Avengers number 34 in 1966. Arthur Parks was a former scientist that developed laser weapons. After the love of his life left him for a richer man, he turned to crime. Initially becoming obsessed with the Wasp, he captured her and was given a beatdown by the Avengers. He now spends his days harassing Iron Man. Claw. Nothing good could come from the son of a Nazi war criminal. First appearing in the pages of Fantastic Four number 56 in 1966. Ulysses Claw was a former physicist that wanted to build a sonic sound device, whatever that means. To complete this device, he needed vibranium, the metal that was used to build Captain America's shield and only found in the fictional African nation of Wakanda, home of the Black Panther. Losing his right hand to Black Panther, he later built a device that can turn sound into solid objects, because that makes total sense. The Living Laser and Claw bounce around and shoot lasers at you. Nothing too difficult here to beat, and Claw does this annoying thing where he shoots a hand at you that holds you for a second. Why would that even hurt you? After ruining their day, you get some help from Quicksilver, the best ripoff of the Flash in all of comic book history. First appearing in X-Men number 4 in 1964, Pietro Maximoff is the arrogant son of Magneto, and an X-Men villain turned Avenger, who's too fast to die in the X-Men movies, yet too slow to live in the Avengers. All he really does is drop off some health for you. Thanks for not using your super speed to do anything productive. So he runs away slowly, and that's when you encounter your first stage boss. Whirlwind, a mutant who's smart enough not to mess with the X-Men, yet stupid enough to stand up to the Avengers. First appearing in Avengers number 46 in 1967. David Cannon was born with the ability to move his body at great speeds like a top. He made a name for himself by robbing banks and being constantly beaten up by Giant Man and the Wasp. So he later joined the Masters of Evil and continues to pester the Avengers. He spins around everywhere, and I love it when the boss health gets low. Listen to how exciting the music gets. It's awesome. Looks like Whirlwind's attack was just a distraction, and off they go to Target Town. So you fight your way through the rooftops until you can't go any further, but you get some help from Wonder Man, no relation to Wonder Woman. First appearing in Avengers number 9 in 1964, Simon Williams ended up in prison for embezzlement, and he was tricked into thinking it was Tony Stark's fault. Becoming one of Baron Zemo's test subjects, he was granted superhuman strength and durability, which he used to infiltrate the Avengers to destroy them, but had a change of heart and joined them. And he's getting his cinematic debut in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, played by Nathan Fillion. It gives you a little ship to fly around in. If you picked Iron Man or Vision, in this part you just fly around. Once you touch that floating W, you meet Wasp, Marvel's way cooler version of Tinkerbell, and first appearing in Tales to Astonish number 44 in 1963, Janet Van Dyne was given the powers to shrink, fly, and shoot wasp stings at her enemies by her husband Hank Pym. Also, she's got the most glamorous haircut in all of Marvel history. Wasp is completely invincible. Any enemy that touches her gets hurt, and you can launch her ahead of you. Oh, what's that? Sentinels, labeled as giant robot, but everybody and their mother knows that this is most definitely a Sentinel. First appearing in X-Men number 14 in 1965, the Sentinels are giant purple robots that want to destroy all mutants on the planet. Extremely dangerous and easily reprogrammable by Magneto, the Sentinels have tried murdering most of Marvel's heroes at some point or another, and even rule the world in an alternate future that has absolutely no similarities to the Terminator. Waboom! Once the Sentinel explodes, you're fighting on the street. And make sure you use those explosive sodas on the ground too. You can chuck them at people. You know, and I feel so bad for that tree. It exists solely for the purpose of being cut down violently by Grim Reaper. Eric Williams, brother of Wonder Man, first appearing in Avengers number 52 in 1968. After joining the Magia crime family, he received a scythe weapon for his hand from the Tinkerer. Initially blaming the Avengers for his brother's presumed death, he defeated them but was promptly given a well-deserved beatdown by the Black Panther, then continued his career as a supervillain. He floats around and charges at you with his spinning blade. Also not much of a threat, but you can lose a couple quarters here if you're not careful. You beat him and he tells the Avengers that Red Skull commanded him to fight. Well, yeah. And I always thought the back of Red Skull's head here kind of looks like ass cheeks. Challenge from the bottom of the sea. I usually hate underwater levels in games, but this one's not too bad. You fight a mini-boss right near the beginning. And who is that mini-boss, you ask? The Wizard, the man with the stupidest looking helmet in the Marvel Universe, but later having a slightly cooler costume. The Wizard first appeared in Strange Tales number 102 in 1962. Bentley Whitman was a genius that used his inventions to perform magic tricks. Angry that the Fantastic Four were getting more media attention than he was, he went after them and was promptly defeated and thrown in prison. Eventually escaping and becoming the leader of the Frightful Four, the Wizard dreams to someday destroy the Fantastic Four. However, 20th Century Fox has already beaten them to that by making the most comic book accurate movie of all time. After beating this pathetic excuse of a villain, you meet one of Marvel's oldest characters, Namor the Submariner, Marvel's less friendly version of Aquaman and also King of Atlantis. First appearing in Marvel Comics number 1 in 1939, and later punching Nazis in the face next to Captain America, Namor Mackenzie was born half human and half Atlantean. Gifted with the ability to breathe underwater, super strength, magical ankle wings, and the ability to steal other men's wives. So Namor tells you to go underwater, and it's another Quicksilver situation. You have this insanely powerful man that does nothing to help you other than tell you where to go. What a dick. And this plays kind of like the sections in the air. You maneuver around and shoot at countless enemies, and eventually you run into the mechanical menace, McTaco. Taco. This is made up. I don't know. This McTaco thing keeps shooting lasers in a pattern, and you have to shoot the window, so eventually you break the window, he explodes, and you find the secret underwater lair. Oh look, there's Quicksilver again. How did he get here? And again, does nothing to help you. Then we come up to Shredder. The Mandarin. The Mandarin. Marvel's most obvious racial stereotype, and everyone's favorite Marvel movie twist. The Mandarin first appeared in Tales of Suspense number 50 in 1964, and has changed his costume more times than the X-Men. Armed with 10 glamorous alien rings with all kinds of crazy abilities, he constantly comes face to face with Iron Man. He teleports around and shoots beams at you. Just keep jumping around, avoiding them, eventually you'll get them. And the Avengers discover Red Skull's secret base, and it turns out that he's building a doomsday laser on the moon. The most original supervillain plan ever. A Quinjet drops you off inside the Death Star, and after pummeling your way through a couple enemies, you run into the powerhouse known as the Juggernaut. The one man who can say he went toe-to-toe with the Hulk, and then slept with his cousin, Professor X's stepbrother, who was originally a bully, then became a super bully. First appearing in X-Men number 12 in 1965, getting his powers from a magical crystal, he's almost indestructible, until his helmet comes off. He just rolls around the screen and hits you. What really boggles my mind here is, look how big he's supposed to be. Now, look at Gambit next to him, a regular-sized person. Now, look at his size compared to Hawkeye in this game. Is this actually just one of Juggernaut's turds? I don't know. He's a bit on the small side. You beat him, and run into Marvel's version of Skynet. Holy Ultron, one of the Avengers' greatest threats, but they have no one to blame but themselves. First appearing in Avengers number 54 in 1968, Avenger Hank Pym sought to create an intelligent machine and succeeded, and it decided to wipe out all of humanity. Ultron upgraded his body using the same material as Wolverine's claws, but has been constantly defeated by the Avengers, and every time he comes back to life, he adds a number to his name or changes his gender. He rains down lasers from the sky and darts around. And at this point, I feel like every boss in this game just shoots a bunch of lasers. But anyways, with time running out, the Avengers rush to destroy the super laser. And after a couple arrows from Hawkeye and shield throws from Captain America, the super laser explodes. And then you go down a theme park slide to face a villain who is nobody's favorite. Controller, first appearing in Iron Man number 12 in 1969. Basil Sandhurst was a scientist that was banned from most research facilities due to his unethical experiments. Armed with the ability to control minds and an armored exoskeleton, he became a frequent foe of Iron Man and War Machine. Why there's two in this game labeled as Control, I do not know. And the controller can be a little challenging because there is two of him and there's buzzsaws grinding around everywhere. Well, there's two of us too. After sending the controller back into the D-list of comic book villains, what happens when you add Bane and the Punisher together? You get Crossbones. Brock Rumlow, a cold-hearted assassin who's a common thug of the Red Skull and loves his sandwiches. First appearing in Captain America number 359 in 1989 as a Shadow. Crossbones uses his arsenal of knives, guns, and any weapon he can get his hands on to get the job done. And Crossbones just rolls around, throws explosive Ninja Turtle shells at you. That could be kind of annoying, but just keep jumping around. Knock him out, and on the way to the final boss you go.
You can't escape!
Our final foe is the Red Skull, who started out as one of Hitler's most beloved Nazis. Red Skull has expanded his plans over the years to world domination. Johann Schmidt first appeared in Captain America Comics number 7 in 1941. Red Skull's been responsible for some of the most dastardly crimes, from orchestrating the assassination of Captain America to stealing Professor X's brain, transferring his mind into new bodies. This is a villain who will constantly survive to face Captain America over and over again. Red Skull just kind of kicks and punches. If you think he's too easy, well, there's a reason for that. A giant red Terminator. Just keep hitting it till it dies while avoiding all the crap it throws at you. And I think this part's hilarious. Instead of escaping, Red Skull just sits there and lets it fall on top of him. You escape, the enemy base explodes, and well done! You save the world from his evil plot. Oh, but wait a minute. Cliffhanger ending. Is there going to be a sequel? No. Captain America and the Avengers is a classic beat-em-up. You can finish the game in anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It's a fun little ride, especially if you have 4 players. I showed you the arcade version, which is the best version of the game, but it's not easy to find anymore in the few existing arcades. If you want to play the arcade version, the easiest way is probably going to be an emulator. If you want a home console version of it, it's available on multiple systems. You can find it online pretty cheap or at your local used game store.
How strong the forces of evil may be, the Avengers will be there!
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed your weekly video game review. If you had fun watching, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below for me. Are you Team Captain America or are you Team Iron Man? And don't forget to check out my other videos. You can click some of them right here on this page. You may find something that you slightly enjoy. This is Fabian from GamerThumbTV, the best channel for gamers, movie lovers, and anyone else who loves wonderfully nerdy things. Till next time, guys.